All right, people, we are live. Welcome to the first ever Trust the Process podcast. I got my boy Robbie Ripoll here, Rad Inc., amazing human. We had to start with a banger, but we had to start with someone that I felt was worthy to start this thing, and that's you, bro. So appreciate your time, dude.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate the shit out of that.
No, dude, this guy, crazy story for himself. Really cool story about how we even met. And so, I guess before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. This has been a long time coming, so I have to do what I never do, which is say, please subscribe to this channel. We need to start strong. Click the buttons, like it, drop comments. It's what's going to make this thing survive. So we're going to do videos every Sunday. I don't know when they're going to start, but I promise you once they do, they won't stop. So Robbie's going to be number one. We'll let you know when we're dropping, and let's just get this thing going, bro.
Yeah,
so,
man.
I don't know, man. How's life?
Life is interesting.
Yeah, I bet, especially for you, bro.
Yeah, man. With being 42 years old and having a new baby, like he's 11 months old and he's walking like crazy. My oldest son is 22 and lives at home with me, and I've really been spending a lot more time with my family, like Donna, my baby mama, and just the baby and Jaden, and like just really enjoying life a lot more.
It's amazing, dude. I did just get to meet your
my oldest son.
Yeah. Super cool kid. And the second I saw you guys, I was like, man, that's so cool. You guys are getting to spend some time together.
Dude, it was so cool because like he's a performing artist, and he was on stage where you ran up on us during the Cass Haley show, and it was like big crowd, flashing lights, and it was just like, dude, there's going to be a time where you and me are up here, but like it's for you.
Exactly.
Not just watching a show. So it's been really cool just like connecting to my family in a big way. The family that I've built, the family that like they're there for me.
For sure. And then the new baby, dude.
Dude, he's so cool. He's such a crazy person.
No, for sure. He's a mini Robbie. That's
dude, so
cool, dude.
Man, I was looking at him the other day, and I was like, shit, man, that kid's gonna lose a limb one day.
So for anyone who doesn't know this, by the way, we haven't really gotten into this. Robbie is a amputee. He lost his leg in a crazy accident, which we're gonna talk about. But again, Robbie's life is incredible, dude.
Thank you.
He was on Ink Masters. He has done some of the most beautiful, incredible artwork on people that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm not saying that because I'm biased. I mean it.
I appreciate that.
I was brought to Robbie kind of in a bind, and we're going to talk about that shortly.
Yes.
And I guess that's where we're going to kind of introduce the topic of the episode. I've decided that not only should we have a person, but we should kind of give or take have a topic that we're going to work around. And for this one is kind of how we met, and the topic is going to be turning bad things into good things. Which I think Robbie knows a thing or two about turning bad things into good things. And,
Indeed, I do.
Over and over. And what's funny is people just assume that what happened in your accident is probably the worst thing that ever happened to you, but I bet that's just one of the things you've gone through in life.
Right, and it's funny because one of my friends that was here over the beginning of the week, we had this conversation. He's like, oh, so in case y'all are wondering, I'm about to shave Dalton because we're about to tattoo him.
Yeah, we didn't intro that.
We didn't talk about this at all.
Which we'll circle into the full story, but Robbie is not only finishing and salvaging my full arm piece, he's making it the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And we're busy guys, so we don't see each other enough, and we decided that when we're going to do this, we're going to go to people and we're going to do what they do. So during this podcast, Robbie's going to lay some fresh ink. And what are you working on? Do we have any? What's the plan?
So I has started thinking about blue background.
Okay.
But then, like, as I'm shaving you, I'm seeing this turtle, and I'm like, oh, that guy. What are we gonna do with him?
So my favorite part about this is that me and Robbie, we just work together and do really cool projects together. And I love how I don't know what I'm getting into when I come in here. I have no idea. And I watch his method. He's just like, that turtle's bothering me.
Like, he already heard it in my voice. Like, fucking turtle, are you supposed to be bigger or what? Who are you?
So I guess that's a good topic. We, Well, I guess before we actually get to our meeting, let's just tell the people a little bit about who you are, and feel free to pick up and drop off wherever.
Okay, so I've been tattooing since I'm a wee boy. My dad was the reason why I got into tattooing. And when I was super young, I was like, I fucking love that. And, I grew up in the tattoo shop. So, I'd get dropped off, after school at the fucking tattoo shop, and they'd be in tattoo magazines. And like back then, there was naked girls in the tattoo magazines and all kinds of shit. It was a really cool life, man. But like, honestly, outside of all like the glamorous, cool stuff, it just felt natural to me. It was the only thing I've ever wanted so badly. And it just kind of made sense. So I just did whatever I could to become a tattooer as fast as I could. And that was basically just running around telling my dad, hey, I want a tattoo, I want a tattoo, I want a tattoo. And then finally he teaches me. So fast forward, I've been fucking, in this thing since I'm 12, basically.
I was gonna say, you started really early.
Yeah. So like when I was 12, I became like the informal apprentice. So my dad would just have me do wacky jobs, and like, dude, I would fucking build needles. This is gross. Don't do this. But I used to take a broom bristle and take the old piercing needles and push the stuff out of the inside, and then re-sterilize the
No
needles.
way.
Bro, my dad was a fucking Cuban, and like Cubans are like real resourceful and reuse things a lot.
So I thought I did sketchy stuff.
Dude,
That's
it was sketchy.
So gnarly. So
It was super sketchy.
I've got a couple picture perfects. So we've talked about it lightly on my Facebook, and over time you guys are going to learn that I've got a really crazy story, and some of the stories you're like, that's not the same person, and it was a different time in my life. But what are you thinking? I can see. You see that? I saw his brain. His brain started rolling.
Well, so because like, especially also due to the format of what we're doing here, I think I'm going to focus on the turtle right now.
Cool.
For this episode,
Right.
And then we can like bullshit, and we can create this new turtle during the conversation.
I love it. You see
and
that?
like rather than just trying to put some background together, like
Let's form
focus
something.
on this, and just like it'll be a fun thing to like.
And guess who's gonna
show.
love that?
The people.
Maddie's gonna trip. My wife is gonna love me tonight. Thank
You said she fucking loves it. Why does she love it when you come here?
Because she loves tattoos and she's got some really cool ones. But she pushed me to get the full sleeve because like, I don't know. I was on the fence. I wanted to find the right person. I feel like that's the way I look at it. That's how serious I take tattoos. Like it was kind of like committing to someone that was like dating because like, bro, it's for life. And so. What happened was, I guess we'll bridge into how I met Robbie. I had been posting online that I was looking to get a tattoo done, and I didn't really know what, and I wasn't finding any feedback, so I said, forget it. And then one day I go to my buddy Sam Duggan's house, and I walked in, and there was a picture on the wall, and his sister, Susan, drew this incredible over-under photo where it's like a surfer in a barrel, and like a mountain in the background, and then the underneath is the ocean and all the sea life. I'm like, yo, that's it. Like literally, don't change anything. That's what I want. So I asked Susan if we could use it. She said for sure. And then I have a friend named Chelsea, who you may or may not be familiar with. She has a crazy dragon piece down her whole side to her kneecap, and that's kind of like was her claim to fame for a while. But she's done like huge modeling gigs and stuff, and she introduced me to the artist that basically started the sleeve. So when I started the process, me and the other artist, we had a pretty good relationship going, but it was a little bit weird, and I want to keep it relatively clean on the details, but we were making a business exchange.
Well, but like, I like the fact that you can bring up the fact that it felt weird, because a lot of the time with tattooing, we just deal with it. And like in advocating for yourself as a patient is a thing in the hospitals. Advocating for yourself as a client is a thing with your artist. And like you have to have a rapport developed. Sometimes I react poorly when people change my concepts.
No, you're totally right though.
If you can manage through that stuff, that's what makes a good bond with you and your artist. So like, yeah, it can feel weird, and that might be the weird, like, please, I should leave.
Yeah.
But it also might feel weird because you need to speak up.
Yeah.
And so identify what kind of weird you're feeling, and and dig into that a little bit as the client, because you don't have to take anything just because you created a
No.
relationship with this artist.
No, you don't.
So yeah.
And I'm really glad you brought that up because I was like, should I don't jump into that? But Robbie's right. This is a good opportunity for anybody to know that, like, if you don't feel comfortable during a tattoo at any point in time, you should be immediately done. I don't care how many hours in you are. I don't care how committed you are to the work that's being done. The second it's not right, you need to leave. And, you know, there's a lot of things that happen with uncomfortable situations, and we're not going to talk about the end result of this, but for me personally, I like to think that I like read people relatively well. I was just getting really emotionally pulled to do certain things with this business relationship that I wasn't necessarily comfortable with. And I was like blind to it when it was happening, but ultimately I had to stop working with the other artist because of this huge situation where there was allegations about him and the legal system was involved. So I immediately had to get on Facebook and denounce working with this person. And I was upset for a lot of reasons. One, what was going on was crazy, like freaked me out for real.
Yeah.
Two, I had endorsed this to a lot of people. Three, I now had a tattoo that was unfinished, which bothered me, but then I hated the tattoo,
Right,
bro.
right.
And I'm sure you've had people come in like, look, my ex did this tattoo.
I've been
need
there.
it covered.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Everybody's been there. You know, like I've been there plenty times.
It's a reminder for life in your
Right.
skin.
And you know, that's the thing, like you got pulled in a weird direction that you started to acknowledge that it wasn't the way to go, and you didn't do anything about it until a while went on.
Until shit hit the fan, dude.
Right, due to like politeness and people pleasing.
Dude, I called my wife frustrated about the process with that artist several times, and I kept telling myself I was being crazy. Like I was being judgmental, I was overanalyzing, but ultimately
I'm crazy too. I got problems as well.
Exactly.
I'm not perfect. Who am I to judge? You do. It's so human, and it's so weird, and it's so natural. But like it's normal as fuck to go through that.
And it can be unhealthy because it can block you from seeing stuff for what it is. So in that situation, I was blind to what was happening. So moving forward, I have denounced the artist on Facebook, and I don't work with that person anymore. And then now I'm stuck. And the irony is, I wasn't really looking for a new tattoo artist. I was so horrified by what just happened. I honestly didn't want to finish. And
yeah, you were a pain in the ass when we first met.
Yo, dude, I was.
You were mad jaded, and I had to recognize that you were jaded and you were uncomfortable, and I had to build a relationship and a rapport with you.
You did, and that's why we're so close now.
Right,
and mad props to Robbie for having the courage to kind of call it what it was and shoot it straight with me when he didn't even know me. So I was being dodgy. It's kind of like when you're pushing a girl away because you don't want to get hurt. That's kind of what I was doing. The second I realized he was serious, I almost became less serious.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. Like I got snappy with him one day via text message. I'm like, bro, are we working together or not? Like, what the fuck?
He shot it straight,
and
dude.
he was like, okay, let's get on the phone. And we talked, and he was like, thank you.
Fixed it.
Yeah, we did.
And
I just forgot. I just remembered that I didn't do any social media content. So let me do that real quick.
You're good, dude. So, Robbie taking the opportunity to be honest with me not only made our working relationship awesome, but it immediately made us good friends. I could trust him. He was calling it what it was, and I love turbulence. I love I love problems because is that bad? Am I a bad person?
No, because I think it's a male trait predominantly. Because I find this with a lot of other men, a lot of other male entrepreneurs, a lot of other male fathers, a lot of other fathers. But there's just this level of look, let me fucking just handle some shit and throw some shit my way so I can rescue a damsel or something.
Let's go.
You know what I'm
seriously.
saying?
It's like
dude?
this call to action as a man to fix some things. So.
Right. And women are like, dude, I've noticed also that the trend in women is this loving, nurturing, giving thing.
Yeah.
That we don't have. We don't have the understanding It's logic over emotion a lot of the time with men.
Yeah.
So like, give me something logical. Let me figure this the fuck out.
We want data. We want results.
Yes.
We want it. So it's
I
so
need a
funny.
plan of action.
That was a huge thing with me and Maddie's relationship.
Oh, that's a big one with every relationship, I feel like.
Well, dude, like when I met Maddie, I was still recovering from my freaking fiance crushing my existence. Dude.
I love that you used recovering because like that is such a relatable term because like,
dude.
I've recovered from every relationship I've been in, dude. Like,
if you know, you know.
Yeah,
absolutely. And there's nothing on this planet that sucks that bad. I swear, it's awful. So yeah, I like thought I had it figured out. I meet this freaking beautiful blonde girl, and I like had it in my head like, she's cool, but we're not going there. And then the next thing you know.
So that's your pattern.
Oh yeah, dude,
that's your pattern. Big time.
So yeah, man, when we met, I went through some really super not cool times where I was like basically unlocking these chambers of pain and these horrible ways that I was responding to it. And I was talking to my boy JD recently, and we were talking about like when you have like any kind of a situation that makes you feel abandoned and you get left and it leaves scar tissue so deep you don't realize it. So the point was I was better. I was way over the relationship, but I as a person was not fixed or healed or growing. So my wife sticking it out, dude, props to her. But the point was I remember the change in thought when I realized that my wife as a woman didn't want to just fix shit because it was broken right that second. And as a man, you don't want to leave the room. You want to fix it right now.
Right now.
Right now. And then I had to have faith in her that she would circle back at a calmer time.
And not abandon you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because as a man, you're rational. Like, if we don't fix it now, then it's going to become a bigger problem. And then
it's
like
broken forever.
So,
you don't love me because I don't love myself. Yep.
Oh, man. So, turning bad things into good things. I went through a horrible, horrible breakup where I was engaged. I was just a few months out from being married. And at the time, my spouse walked out on me very abruptly, and it crippled my existence. I almost ruined my business. I wrote the bio for this podcast channel this morning, and that part of my life, it's not the relationship, it's the change that happened because of what happened. It's like BC AD, like literally, like there's before Dalton and then there's after Dalton. So that's why I bring it up. It's something we'll dive in more into over the years on this channel, but me and Robbie meeting was the result of a really bad thing. It was an artist and me in a business relationship that was unable to be finished. I was business mad and then personally frustrated. So when I
a little hurt too.
A little hurt too, dude.
Because when you get tattooed, it's something special.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? You're like allowing somebody to create something on your body permanently. So like that's a big fucking deal, man.
Dude, it's in a way a bond, maybe not with the person, but with their artwork.
Yeah,
and that artwork represents the
shit.
person.
Yep, absolutely.
So when I got myself together and actually started committing with Robbie, we have become such a great duo, and I call him when I have an idea, he calls me when he has an idea, and I look at Robbie as a mentor way more than like any of our business terms, because a lot of my so-called clients and people I work with, they mean a lot to me and they're really successful. So like, dude, the list goes on, but like you're one of those people that's got some years on me and a ton of successful experience, and you're just a freaking awesome dude. So just so you know, bro, like you're like a mentor to me.
Thanks, man. That means a ton to me, dude. And like, similarly, you're like, so I have two types of people that I typically attract and are attracted to and learn from. Young entrepreneurs and like successful old dudes.
I hear you, dude.
And you definitely, you keep me sharp in the young times of things. And like, hearing you talk about your TikTok success, made me realize, shit, I still have the possibility, like, and just your mind and your abilities, and like, man, I respect the shit out of you. So to hear you say that, man, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
I appreciate that, dude. I love you, buddy. When
I
you
love
came
you
in
too,
this
man.
morning, I wish I could turn this around and show you guys what this room looks like. We're so proud of what we're doing right now.
It's wild.
And yeah, it's incredible. We're just so stoked on what we're doing. And Robbie came in this morning and he was like, man, he's like, what you guys are doing is just incredible right now. And I can't believe the setup. And what did you say, dude? You're like, what made you want to get into all this equipment for this stuff? And I was like, someone asked.
Yeah, I looked at JD because you were telling me about, like, you know, he's editing on site. I'm like, what sparked you to want to do that? Like what brings you to like that realization? Like, this is what I want to do. And you're like, client needed it. So I did it.
It's kind of like if someone asked you to do some kind of super unique piece in a different part of like the body you haven't worked on, a color combination, or something different for you that you hadn't done but you really wanted to.
Bro.
You know what I mean? And you take it as the moment to be like, well, I guess it's time, right?
I have done that so many times. If you're listening out there, anyone that I did a portrait on in my early days, I'm better at them now, and I'm sorry. Because I was young, and I do have that sense of like, I'll do whatever I can. You know, I was the only artist in the shop, you know, so like I needed to fucking learn how to tattoo everything. So, you know, when, you know, people started seeing portraits, I was like, fuck, I got to figure out portraits. And so I started doing portraits, and a couple of them were real bad. Real bad.
And you
but
gotta
like,
start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere, and like, there's a reason why I'm $2,500 a day now.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, I'll do, you know, $30 tats. You know, back
dude,
at the beginning.
And that growth is everything.
Yeah.
And like, I guess one of the things I want to ask you about, I don't know if you plan to be Robbie Ripoll from Rad Ink, the guy that was on Ink Masters, that does the motivational stuff, that's got all the just the interest in you, and you're known as the color guy, and like you're not just known as like, yeah, there's a guy that you can get some tattoos from. Did you plan to try to stand out? Because for me, when I started, I've always known that I wanted to be a good filmmaker, but I knew I wanted to do something bigger than me. I wanted to have something different than everyone else. And in my opinion, you're so different than everyone else. Not just around here,
but everywhere I go.
Was that the plan? How did it go? And speaking of trust the process, like, how the hell did you get here?
So it's interesting to hear your perspective, because I've been going through a bit of like disappointment with the process right now.
Okay.
Talk
me through it.
Yeah, man. So like I started with being a scared fat kid that wanted friends, you know. So I just started making friends with people. And then before you know it, like, that's called relationship building, which is really positive to, you know, business and other parts of life. And I just wanted to be nice to people because I wanted people to be nice to me. And there was this massive uniqueness about me that I had to be comfortable with wearing.
For sure. So it was like you almost had to get used to being yourself.
More so that than I'm gonna be unique. You know, like, yeah, cool. Like, for me, I'm kind of like, unique is level 1.
I got it.
Because I was born with that.
Yeah. Okay. So I can agree with that. It's like it's not something that I thought that I had to think about.
Right.
It's something I felt.
Yeah, you need to be
different.
this. I need to be this person. So this hat that's crazy, I need it. This hairstyle that's wild, I need it. You know, being a fucking madman was just a part. Dude, being crazy was natural for me. And like, I remember like bar going for years, and then like throughout the process, dudes would come up and be like, "Hey man, you've calmed down a bit over the years," and I would take offense to it. And I'd be like, "What the fuck do you mean? I was never calm down.
Flip a table.
Yeah, you calm down. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm fucking fine. I've never been crazy. You're fucking crazy. You know, like." So like, I've had to wrangle myself more than I've had to like try to create this brand. Like, my Cadillac's pink, and so is my shop. You know why? Because I fucking love hot pink. You know what I'm saying? And it probably started somewhere between my mom loving hot pink and some kid fucking making fun of me for having a pink lighter. Like, I picked up
for
the pink
real.
lighter, and he's like, "Bet you won't buy it." And I'm like, "I'm going to buy it. Who's gonna say something to me?" And
Dude.
like, I think that's just kind of who I've always been. Like, I have a huge authority problem. Fucking tell me not to do something.
Yeah.
That's the best way to get me to do it.
Yeah, ditto.
Tell me I can't. That's even better. You just added more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
Which I feel like that's such a good trait just in general.
Right.
To be able to take that stuff and just work it. Because life's going to suck and have crappy people in it.
Right.
Regardless. You could be the coolest, nicest, most, beneficial
successful,
person.
talented,
it don't matter.
yeah. But the
And,
thing is, like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Like, you're gonna be who you're gonna be. You may as well be it. Because,
sure.
like, dude, I've got a friend that works somewhere that, like, I'm like, what's it like living a double life? And she's like, you don't get it. Not very many people get to live your life where you don't have to live a double life. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? So, like, but turning the negatives of being too stubborn into positives of entrepreneurship.
For sure.
Because we're too stubborn. We're probably annoying to argue with.
Oh, dude, no. JD's over here just like...
I looked at him on purpose because I wanted to see the response. Because I know you're a lot like me.
No, for sure. And didn't I just say the other day I came in and I had a phone call and I had to like handle something. I was like, man, I hope that was good. I could fill a whole house up in 1 second. And I talked to JD. I was like, I've realized something. My anger and like what I say is a big part, and I've gotten that under control first because we kind of think about what we say, right? But the how, and not even how, just the energy I carry. Dude, I get so freaking fired up.
Yes.
It's almost overwhelming to some people. So I realized that if I do want to get certain things done that require someone to work with me, I have to come at them the right way, even if I have good intentions.
Right, because, not to get biblical at all, but like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Dude, I say
it's one of my favorites.
No, that is massive. Do you know how many people hurt people and don't think they're hurting people, but they're still hurting people?
And that comes back to hurt people. And then you're running around with all these fucking wounds, and you're fucking projecting because of your wounds, and you're so scared and hurt that you don't realize you're hurting other people because you're so hurt, you're just trying to find comfort.
I think that's another reason I really like you because, there's a certain type of just men that are more in touch with healing and talking about things and really laying it all out there and working on themselves.
That's me.
But it also has been very generational. Like your grandpa, my grandpa, like these guys were freaking tough as nails, and they were taught that like you basically, dude, just get your shit done and shut up.
Yeah.
And that was a rough life. And I saw this post recently, and you've probably seen the ones where it's a meme and it's like, oh, these kids want this and they want that and they can't handle this and they're emotional about that. And then your grandpa would eat nails and do this. And I'm sure you've seen those, right? Where it's like trying to backfire that.
Right.
I saw one in response to that recently, and it said, just because your grandfather lived that way doesn't mean he was a happy man. Just because he shut up and just ate the pain, never talked about mental health, never talked about how he felt. Just because he survived it doesn't mean that he enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude. I was at a book signing for one of my favorite authors, Lewis Howes, and he did this Q&A session, and this woman stands up and she's like, my husband died at 51 years old because he never talked about his emotions and he basically killed himself on accident. And I'm like, damn, dog. And like my dad burst into tears one time during somebody saying grace at Thanksgiving. And I walk over to he goes in the bedroom crying. I'm like, what's wrong, dude? He's like, PTSD shit. And I'm like, okay, what kind of PTSD shit?
Can we like dive in and kind of get into here?
And no shade to my dad, love the man, but like he died on his deathbed and refused to say I love you to my mom. Because like he saw me and my brothers go through divorces, and he always saw us saying I love you to our spouses. So he didn't believe in love anymore.
It's so heavy, dude.
Yeah. That's how I was raised, doggy. Well, you know what I'm saying?
It speaks into who you are, though, right?
Right, because I had to fucking be loved.
You had to.
I had to, bro. I remember one specific instance. We were at the Texas Roadhouse or some shit, or Roadhouse Grill, one of them others. And we was waiting for everybody, the food to come, and they had the bread plates out. And I just remember everybody was cranky. And I felt it necessary to be like, here, take some free love. So I started handing out plates of free love to everybody, and like, to crack my dad was brilliant. You don't crack my dad.
Yeah.
So that was what I always tried to do. So I think him being so hard was the pressure that needed to make me the diamonds of like showing love and giving love and realizing that love is actually my fucking center. It's my goal. It's my purpose. It's what I've been here to fucking put on this earth. And the further away I get from love, the further away I get from who the fuck I really want to be.
For sure.
And because he was so rough and so tough and so hard, he helped me create this like, okay, I know how to be rough and hard and I know how to fucking kill a room, you know, but like also I know how to love.
Which that balance, dude.
It's important.
It's important, and it's what's going to make you thrive for a long time, not just temporarily.
Right.
You know, I've always had this I want to do good thing.
Yeah, I feel you.
But it took a while for me to like capture it and capitalize on it.
Yes.
And it happened probably around like 21. And I don't know what it was, probably a couple of the breakups. Like I went to jail back to back. My mom kicked me out of the house. I lived in my car. I call it the equivalent of like blacked out driving and you're going towards a concrete wall. Dude, I swerved at the last possible second. Like the legal system was clamping on me. Everyone that was a friend had abandoned me. And my family couldn't even keep me in my place. So then I right after that, my life changed. And I think that was part of it, right? Because I was seeing the results of the bad things I was doing. I was kind of understanding how people felt. And it just made me be more willing to like care about people.
Yeah.
And that grew over the years after I got involved with charities and met all these people. And that's the thing. That's why I love these podcasts, not ours, but podcasts in general are so information full. Usually with amazing stories, things that'll inspire
Yeah, brilliant
you.
people, fucking all kinds of cool shit. Yes.
And if you hear a certain story, have you ever heard a quote 20, 30 times of your life, but then there was this one time this one person told you in a horrible scenario and it hit like a bag of bricks?
Dude, completely.
That is why podcasts and information is so important, because someone's going to hear something from someone on the right day at the right time and it's going to make them swerve before the wall. You know
no, totally, dude, totally. And like, you know, these times, like, I dealt with a lot going through my amputation, and just knowing that other people were out there crushing it, you know, seeing other amputees doing backflips on wakeboards and like running and like all that stuff, hearing their stories, hearing people's like success stories and overcoming stories, it helped me through a lot of that shit.
For sure. Let's talk about that too, because, you know, I'm sure people are really interested, and I honestly only know so much. So, dude, trust the process has become not just a motto, but it's like how I live my life basically. And what people don't understand is there's trust the process, and then there's rush the process.
Ooh.
There's a lot of times post learning trust the process and thinking it was my existence where I caught myself rushing the process. So my question is, you know, how was that journey for you? And now that you're you know, at a good place in your life, how did it go down? How did you, and where did you find yourself needing to trust the process when you felt like you couldn't? And what happened, obviously, first and foremost?
So, human body suspension has always been a passion of mine. Ever since I got a book at a porn store when I was young, and the book was called Return to the Tribal. And I saw a bunch of fucking suspension stuff in there and read about it. Then I saw a couple of different things on TV about it, and I was like, I have to do this one day.
And mind you, this is some wild hook and chain suspension, right? Like,
yeah,
explain like how this goes down.
So human body suspension is the act of putting hooks through your body and picking yourself up off the ground.
JD is cringing behind the switchboard right now.
And I've done it a lot. I've done it very regularly for many years.
But you tied it in with motivational speaking a lot as well, right?
Right, yeah. So like at some point in time I realized I needed to tap into the healer that was given to me, right? So like, okay, instead of being afraid of using this gift, go and give this gift to the world. How can you talk in front of people? Okay, doing your suspension shows and talking during that. So like at one, I actually took hooks while I was speaking, which was probably one of my favorites. I was just sitting there in the chair and just like, la da 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 da. And so the way I would tie it in was like, yo, this probably looks impossible. This probably looks crazy. It's not impossible. It is crazy, but it's fucking rad. Go do rad shit with your life. Like if it fucking scares the shit out of you and, you know, you hate yourself, cool, great. Try something. Do something. Fucking lean into the discomfort. You know, like this suspension feeling is like a bar fight for me. You know, when you're done with a bar fight, you're all exhilarated, and just a fight in general. You know, you're just like...
It reminds me of like cave diving.
Right, you remember you're alive.
Dude, there's
right.
there's joy in the process, but it's more about the high that you feel after you survive it.
Absolutely. So this was a lot of that, but it was also physical limitation testing. You know, like...
So how old were you when you started doing this versus how many years were there till your incident happened?
2007
is when you started,
or 11.
7 or 11 in that general time
in
period.
That time period is when I started.
And then what year was your accident?
My accident was 2019.
So 2019, the crazy thing is I met Robbie in 2020.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember it was like just post-COVID.
Oh, yeah.
It maybe could have been 21 early.
Yeah, but I was walking and shit.
But mind you, Robbie's, you know, whole transition was a year old, maybe year and a half at most.
Yeah, it happened May 10th, 2019. So also, if you want to Google or YouTube search my name, you'll find a video that Ink Mag made. If you want to cry, check it out. They just sat me down while my fucking amputation was fresh.
Yeah.
And I walked them through, like,
I'll be sure to link
my
that
story.
in the description on here. I'll get that from Robbie. So if you guys want to watch that video, look in the description. I'll put that link.
It is rough, but it is beautiful. Like, it's that like pretty ugly, that beautiful pain.
Yeah, but you know, getting yourself vulnerable and talking in those moments are huge. I did Facebook Lives literally daily, starting the day that my ex had left, and I didn't say what was happening, but I was so visible. Did you see the pictures of me from my septoplasty in the Instagram stories? I had more people tell me that they like struggled to watch those stories because you could see the pain. You could see the just insurmountable pain in my face. Didn't even matter what I was saying. So those Facebook Lives that I did right after that, they were hard to watch, but
you could tell,
they hit people. So yeah, man, to make yourself be available to share your experience with people at your most vulnerable, bro, that's valuable to other people.
So many people thank me for that on a regular basis.
100%.
Dude, honestly, I get blindsided to how lucky I really am to have the amount of support and love that's like shined on me on a regular basis. Like I get almost robotic about answering responses sometimes because people are like, man, thank you so much. You inspired me to be a tattooer. You inspired me to, like, you know, lose weight. You inspired me to, like, get up off my ass. You inspired me to love myself. Like, you helped me fix my relationship. And I'm like, man, thanks so fucking much. You have no idea the impact you're making. And it's like, and like they are. And I'm so appreciative, but I forget sometimes that my existence is different.
Which is life, dude. You get so accustomed to stuff. We get accustomed to things. And I have had my own doses of it where, man, we have these beautiful blessings that become repetitive in a good way, but it becomes easy for you to not really understand its depth. And you remind me of my buddy Adam J, not like y'all personally, but y'all's audience is so invested. And mine is too, but dude, y'all's is on like a huge scale, and the level of connection, like, bro, there are people that will tell Adam that his music has saved their life, you know, has gotten them to go get off their ass and go outside and fish. And it's not just, and dude, he tells me, man, like, he sits there late at night and will see these comments and stuff. And bro, Adam is another person who has a gnarly ass story. It was not cool before this stuff, bro. It wasn't. And I know it wasn't for you either. So, you know, before we talk about how your actual incident happened, let's talk about where you are versus where you started, process driven. What would you tell these artists out here, these kids that maybe they want to do it? Y'all good, JD? All right, we are back. See, that's why we call it Trust the Process. It's a process.
It's a process.
This is all new, but we're doing good. Shout out to JD. We got this man working behind the sticks. Anybody that doesn't know, he's my right-hand man, and he's going to be running the sticks for the new podcast, so we'll show him some love. Not sure where to pick up, but that's cool. I've got a bunch of little notes in here. One thing I want to circle back on is on the turning bad to good. What did it make you feel like? Like, how did you feel to have me come to you for help? And I'm sure you have a lot of people come to you for help. How does it make you feel versus just, hey, I want to just get a tattoo because for whatever reason? When people are like, man, I need your help.
So it's cool when somebody comes to me and says, like, I don't know what I can get done. I don't know what I can do. How can I fix this? And I'm like, no worries. I happen to carry a cape. And really, I think it's, man, if we want to get deep about it, I think it's fucking, trying to please my dad because he taught me how to do cover-ups.
Okay.
And so, like, I just used what he taught me and expanded on it. So, I'm like, is it trying to, please my dad? Is it trying to, just follow in his footsteps? But, at the end of the day, it feels good to help somebody out of a situation they didn't believe they could fix.
And it's cool that you have that tool because, like we spoke about, anybody who has a tattoo that they just don't want can tell you how much it sucks.
Right, and it's not natural to find an artist that's like, fuck yeah, let's kill it. And I'm like, sure. Bro, hold my beer, dog. Dude, actually fucking pour me some wine too, and let's get fucking stoned. Yeah. I'm like, dude, let's fucking do this tattoo. Let's make it a fucking event. And
I like that.
It's wild, man, because I enjoy, you can see how fucking stoked I get about just doing something stoked for people.
Well, dude, no, I do the same thing, and that passion, that energy, I think that's amazing, dude. It's in your work, and that's where my next question is going to be. But when you're, well, actually, I guess I'll go ahead and just ask you, what's your actual inspiration and motivation behind this tattoo? Because I know this is different, and it's in some way become kind of a passion project for you. To do this whole sleeve for me.
Definitely. So
what's been your drive to fix this, to see what it was and what it could be? What's your motivation behind this piece right now?
So if it really, sometimes, a lot of the time it's selfish. I just want to make a cool piece of art. But really, I'm like, man, what do you want? I know what you got. Don't tell me what you got. Tell me what you want. And so I'm sure you, and there's things that I want.
Which is funny because you remind me of me talking to my clients where I'm like, what do you want?
Right, and it's I want to grant you the best of everything I can grant you. I want you to be so fucking stoked with this. But at the same time, something's fucking screaming at me over here saying do this, so I can't give you that. I got to give you this.
Yeah. Which having the audacity to say that is so big.
Oh, it's rough.
Because you got to say it or you're going to let them get a crappy thing. But JD, cut to this camera, whichever one can see this. But
oh, yeah, the octopus.
The octopus. I wasn't opposed to a new octopus. I was just scared to cover it, right? But Robbie's like, that thing looks like a deflated booby. It's got to go. And this thing is so sick. The color, the detail. I get so many compliments. And again, Robbie didn't just say, I'm working with this guy. Let me fill the blanks. I'll finish his tattoo.
Right, because you wanted me to do that. Because you wanted me to play it safe. You wanted me to play it super safe, and I kind of got in your ass.
Well, you said, dude, if I'm doing this, we're not finishing it. We're covering the entire arm again. And just be prepared. We might go over certain areas again and again. And dude, I just have loved the process more than anything. I've probably spent anywhere between 15 and 20 hours in here.
I'd say definitely around there for sure.
And I have had some of the most amazing conversations in my life
Same.
here. And Robbie, I mean this, dude. I call you one of my Jedi. Shout out to my boy Kadeem Cobham, who I probably told you about. He's the one that was the photographer that moved to New York. So me and Kadeem used to sit on my back porch for hours, dude. No phone scrolling, no TV, no Xbox. We're just talking. I do it with JD. I've got these people that are like my Jedi, and you're just capable of talking at this different level, really diving into life.
I dig that, man.
Oh my gosh, dude, my Jedis, I love them. It's and people wonder why I talk the way I do. bro, all I do is talk to people who talked to me the same way that I'm talking to you guys.
Well, you know, and it's funny that you bring that up, because like that's become my shtick, which isn't shtick, it's just who I am. Like one of the things that I'm gonna start with my advertising is like tattoo soul sessions.
For sure.
You know, and like talk about the depth of what we actually do in the tattoo chair, rather than just being sweet dick cool tat gods. You know, like, yeah, man, that's cool. Like I'm glad that, you know, it's a cool profession, but like the amount of healing that I help facilitate. Like one of my very good friends, she came to my house the other night. I've been tattooing her since she's 17, and like, you know, she's trying not to be alternative, but is super alternative. And like she's been fighting that, but she grew up conservative. So like, you know, she's fighting being this alternative being, but happy there, right? And so she joined my coaching program that I started, the human coaching thing I did.
Shout out to your whole rad movement too. Just so you
Thank
guys
you very
know,
much. Thank you.
Robbie is not just Rad Ink Tattoos. The Rad movement, look it up. Again, I'll put links. Way more than a tattoo artist here.
Thank you, and that's where the rad from Rad Ink comes from, is the rad movement. And we can actually circle back around to part of my leg stuff. So my friend, you know, I was like, well, how am I gonna? I was like, I don't even know how I'm gonna assist you in healing next, but I'm excited because like it was through my coaching program. But then it was also before that through every single tattoo session. And like we tattooed her in Baltimore, and like 2 hours into a 10-hour session, this chick is a motherfucker. She sits, dog. And so 2 hours into this session, she's crying because of our conversation.
Wow.
And people are walking by at a convention, dog. And people are walking by and they're like offering her fucking tissues and shit. And she's like, no, it's not the pain of the tattoo. He's talking some shit in my ear, and it's like, it's getting real in this bitch.
Dude.
And like now the new thing is like, I'm like, Colleen, I'm gonna fucking assist you by doing sleeves on you.
Yeah.
Like, you need visible
Therapy
tattoos.
sessions.
That's your next step, dog. That's gonna get you into this whole living alternative out in public, because you're afraid of that. So like, it's funny seeing, we all kind of do that, right? We all like are afraid of something. But the healing that I help people with is anything from that to your daughter died 20 years ago and you couldn't find the artist to do it until now.
Heavy. Wow.
And then you bring me a black and white picture and a colorized picture, and I create a colorized image of the black and white picture. And now you're crying because you're like, how did you get my daughter's emotion and feeling and vibe, and you never met her?
So how cool is that moment when someone comes to you and they say, I know what I hired you to do, but you did it in such a way I just can't comprehend. Thank you.
Bro, one of my best friend's daughter died when she was 3, and I did the whole family's tattoos, all family and friends, like 30 of them in 2 days. The youngest, his youngest daughter at the time is now his oldest daughter, and I just got to do her tattoo the other day.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
And when we were done,
with some time between those tattoos,
like 17 years almost,
oh my
you know. So like when we were done, we stood right where those cameras are, and I didn't think either one of us was gonna cry. And then she just was happy, and I hugged her, and then I felt it.
Oh, dude.
And then
that's it.
And then like we just both sat there and cried together, because like, dude, it was so full circle. And like, man, that's the type of healing that I got to give a child that I never even experienced, and I never even realized I was going to help her heal like this one day. And she's been waiting her whole life. Yeah. Her whole fucking life.
And you did it through your art.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So like that type of shit, you can see how jazzed I get from it. So dude, when it gets real, that's who I want to be. And I fucked myself years ago listening to guys like Lewis Howes and all these other fucking podcasters, because I was like, my story isn't hard enough. Oh, I'm gonna lose my leg and make it harder. Like, dude, I had this. So at one point in my life, I was suicidal because I was afraid of my career ending with Ink Master. After I got home, I was very suicidal.
So,
but quietly.
Robbie was on Ink Master, and I actually haven't seen it. How was your success on the show itself?
I mean, dude, I'm still a world famous tattooer because of it.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it changed my life.
How did you do competition-wise on the show?
I only made it 6 episodes, and that wasn't good enough for me because I'm an overachiever.
Out of what, like 10?
18 or something like that, or maybe less. I'm not sure.
But you're there long enough for people to kind of get an idea.
People got an idea who I am, man.
So what year is that?
That was 2014.
So that's 2014. You lost your leg in 2019.
So
let's talk about coming home from the show, and then let's lead into your injury.
So coming home from the show, I was married at the time to someone that was mishandling our finances very badly, and I wasn't included in that.
Ooh,
so
spicy.
That was going on behind my back, and I didn't know it. So I lived this weird, like, distrusty moment for like a couple years.
For sure.
And then I decided, after Ink Master, I came home to this house I didn't know because she moved while I was gone. So I remember being like, where's my bedroom? Like, dude, it was fucking weird, man. Somebody asked me to go to Publix with them, and I was like, I can't. Oh, wait, I am allowed to go. Okay.
Yeah, that's...
Because, like, they institutionalize you because you're not allowed to leave.
That's heavy.
So it was really weird, man, and it fucked with my head a lot, and I was not as confident as I am now. I wasn't as secure in who I am as I then.
So
as I am
where
now.
were you pre-injury? Like, let's talk like the day of your injury. Basically.
I was at a convention tattooing.
And where were you mentally though?
Mentally, I had just bought my
business-wise?
RV. I battle with a poor relationship with money. I'm sure a lot of other people do too. And so I was stressed out about money and stressed out about this RV, and like we had just bought the RV and I didn't know how to live the RV life.
You didn't have a shop yet?
No. We were living on the road full time.
So
the Rad
were you
Boomer,
making your money off of doing tattoos
tattoo conventions.
on the road?
Yep.
So how does the money work at that?
You fucking charge people what you charge people, and
So
you're a
people
cowboy.
straight up come to the conventions to get 2 tattoos?
Yeah, you're an outlaw, man. Like, we set up TVs and fucking 4 to 8 artists.
So you were
like
just
a
on the
giant
road
backdrop.
grinding.
So now this is how we do it. Back then it was just me and Donna in a car. But at that day we were 2 weeks after just buying the RV.
Okay, so you just bought the RV.
Just bought the RV.
Where's the show at?
Kansas City.
Or wherever you got hurt.
Kansas City.
So you're in Kansas City.
In Kansas City.
I've seen the YouTube video. You've got this you've got this set up with like a trapeze behind you.
So hold on, I got to give you a little bit of beforehand.
Okay.
My friend Steve from Sanoderm, he was working with Sanoderm back then.
Which, if you guys don't know, Sanoderm is the clear, almost like saran wrap that they protect your tattoo with after your session.
So he was on my dick about going to a fucking baseball game. Dude, 50 times he must have asked me to go to this fucking baseball game. And when he finally cracked me, I went to go and tell the other Steve who was doing my suspension, I'm not doing it. I'm going to the ball game.
Oh no, you weren't going to do it?
Wasn't going to do it. Steve finally talked me into not doing it. This is how deep my relationship with money problems go.
Because were you obviously going to make some money to do the...
No, I don't get paid to do suspension. I'm going to tell the other Steve I'm not suspending. I run into a friend and he's like, hey, I want to get tattooed. I'm like, sorry, man, I'm leaving. You know, I'm going to the ball game. He's like, I got money. I didn't know how much money it was. And I don't put this on him. It's not on him. It's totally on me. I didn't know how much money he was giving me. He just said I had money. And I was cool with it. But I also know I didn't like to charge him a lot.
Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of money.
So you stay.
For $200.
So you don't go to the ball game. You stay and do this tattoo session for $200.
And break my leg off.
And do you find yourself with time to do the trapeze, or how do you end up actually doing the trapeze?
I mean,
and are people watching? Is it
yeah, so that's part of it, you know, like I got a fucking audience in front of me, and like, you know, I get to do my motivational speech, and I thought I didn't make an impact with that speech, and then this couple came to visit me in the hospital and told me how much I had impacted the wife's life.
Oh my gosh.
Just with the words that I said when I was on stage before I broke my leg off. And then I thought I wasn't valid as a fucking motivator because I broke my leg off.
Oh no.
So then I felt like I had fucking done something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm telling you to do rad shit, and I just broke my leg off. But honestly, dude, it was one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
So he's like hooked up with these hooks through his skin in his back.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, you had like one or two people that actually pulled.
So one dude that pulls the ropes, yeah.
And then, Robbie goes flying in the air.
And I run into my suspensions, so yeah, I'm flying.
So what actually happened? I never knew, did a rope break?
Yes, the rope broke because it wasn't the proper rope.
So the rope broke,
so
and then Robbie fell to the ground from 12, 15 feet?
We say between 6 and 10.
But the way he fell was bad.
The way I fell was rough because I had a lot of momentum and I'm a big feller.
What happened? Like,
my leg broke
specifically, off. Like, what did they classify it? Like, it was like at the knee, right?
Below the knee.
So just below the knee, his leg snapped in half.
Like here.
So like right about here.
A little lower.
A little lower, it's about here. So it snapped, but didn't it take tendon, muscle?
So the only thing that was holding it on was my skin. And it was like a flaccid penis. It was just burp. So like, dude. And like, dude, you can see, like, when you see, go to my YouTube channel, link that.
Yeah.
Go to my YouTube channel. It's one of the first videos, the rad movement, right? You see the look on my face. I'm like,
oh gosh.
Like, you can see we're both shocked. And like, I got a little bit of weirdness towards my practitioner because like, I don't like the way he handled it after the fact.
Yeah.
But like, I feel his sympathy and empathy. I don't want to wish that on anybody because I know what I go through and I don't want him to wonder what I go through. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was a whole thing. And then the guy that throws the conventions told me to fucking sue. So now I'm sitting there and I'm crying. I can't sue my friends. And he's like, dude, we have insurance. And like, you're fine, bro.
So you break your leg.
I break my leg.
How much like incompatible pain are you in at the time?
None, because I'm fucking just like in shock, bro. Like, I'm totally in shock. Took like 45 minutes for the fucking medics to get there.
Oh God.
So I'm just sitting there in shock and just like crying because like, how am I gonna afford this? How am I gonna afford this?
If I'm making faces, guys, it's because he's getting into the elbow right now.
And like the hardest part for that was like, what am I gonna do, man? Like I'm supposed to be on the road full time in this RV I just fucking bought with my last $12,000.
So you just cashed out.
Cashed the fuck out, dog. I invested in my fucking future.
And now you broke your leg in half.
Yeah. And
you're in Kentucky.
Kansas City. And the plan was to go on the road with the rad movement and like do 50 free tattoos in all the 50 states at 50 different tattoo shops and charge every single person with paying it forward.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm going to make a ripple effect in the world with the rad movement by at least 2,500 people being charged to go do something good.
Dope.
And in the meantime, we'll make money at the conventions.
For sure.
Right? So I get to support my lifestyle, but I also get to change the world in the process. So all this is fucking going down the drain.
Yeah.
At that exact moment.
So this is 2019.
May 10th.
You literally were walking shortly after. Like,
It didn't feel like shortly. For me,
how long was it?
It was about almost a year.
Okay,
from the accident.
So you weren't walking right away, but you did, like, literally, dude, didn't they just chop it and send you on your way?
No, dude, no. Fucking the original doctor wanted me to wanted to fucking try and save it and shit. So he tried to save my leg a whole bunch.
Did you have like hope that you?
Not really.
No.
Dude, so cool story. My son is graduating high school. Jaden, my oldest son. I don't know if any of the camera angles get him, but he's right there behind you on the wall. I'm like, look, because dude, we did 7 surgeries and the 8th one was amputation. So we, like 3 months in.
Dude, I had the story way wrong, bro.
Yeah, dude, you did.
I didn't know you had 7 surgeries before.
Yeah, dude. So 3 months in, we're in Indiana, where Jaden was graduating from high school, because we have a very unorthodox relationship. The first time we ever didn't live together was when he was 17, finishing high school, and I was living on the road full time. So he was in the process of finishing high school. It was like 4 months that he had left before, when we went on the road full time. So a couple months later, we come back, I think I'm good. We go to the fucking hospital. We leave the hospital, go to the graduation, one night in the hotel room, 3 different things happened on the TV that were really oddly timed. So the first one was a tattoo TV show I've never seen before about first responder tattoos. And one of the guys was a cop, got shot, was back on the force 8 months later with an amputated leg and a new prosthetic. Never seen this show before, never seen this show after.
Just the combo right there in itself is so
What
weird.
the fuck, right? So now I'm like, Then a commercial pops on with somebody with fucking running blades running, right? This happens over like 3 hours. And then in fucking the first Iron Man movie, you didn't know there was an amputee in there, did you?
Not just thinking about it. I've seen the movie too. Like,
right, I've seen it a
times.
bunch of times. One of my favorite fucking movies. And like, I didn't realize this little girl, they zoom in on her amputated leg, bro.
What?
Yes, it's towards the end of the movie. And the dude that hops in the other Iron Man suit, what's his name? I can't remember his name. I got the actor's name and the character's name, but I can't remember. But it's like Iron Man's homeboy, right? So he's on the phone with I can't fucking remember who he's on the phone with. But like, this is where they start to realize the deception in the story. And like, they zoom in on this little girl's fucking amputated leg.
What?
So I see these 3 things like 3 hours from each other, and me and Donna were just like, okay, that's it. Like, we're cool.
Yeah. So
Surrender. Here we are. Like,
Yeah.
I'm down. Like, I'll lose my leg. And this is 3 months in.
I call those affirmations, and I'm so thankful whenever I have affirmations. Whether it's like you're worried about something, you're not sure, and you get a sign like that. Like anytime that life gives you a sign, I don't know, dude. I feel like that's the most beautiful thing about life, right? When it just feels that.
Right.
Like think about that. All that was
Me knowing that I'll be okay.
and feeling it.
And feeling it. And like,
Feeling it and trusting it.
We should have fucking advocated for ourselves more at that point with the doctors, because I really didn't want to fucking keep fighting for my leg. And that was like only 3 surgeries in. 4 surgeries in maybe. So
When they finally took your leg, it was still 2019.
It was the end of 2019. I was going in for a routine checkup, and then all of a sudden, we're like, hey doc, I got this infection coming back. And man, we had fought this infection a lot. I had a PICC line that went straight to my heart that I fucking gave myself antibiotic injections into my heart every day. Like, so, and we kept it so antibiotic loaded up that we could never, it never announced what it was. It just announced that it was an infection. So we couldn't tell what the infection was or how to fight it. So we were just killing it or keeping it at bay.
Yeah.
And so now I'm about to go on the road in 2 weeks for a month tattooing. And so he's like, well, the infection's here. It typically announces itself. And you're a perfect candidate for amputation. So I'm like, fine. Like I had a moment where I broke down of like crying good tears and scared tears.
Yeah.
Because I've been wanting this since 3 months in.
So
Like I've been ready.
Was
and like
that
this,
like a decision? Like we're ready? Like we're
doggy, this was motherfucker, this is about to happen.
Oh, like that day.
Well, not that day, 5 days later.
That's still super quick.
So what happened was, now we go through, okay, well, when do we do it? Well, I'm going on the road. Are you cool with me going on the road, before? And he's like, yeah, but if the infection shows up, we might lose more of your leg and have to cut higher.
Ooh.
And you don't want to lose your knee.
No.
Because now you have a fucking like robotic joints and stuff, and it just makes things a lot harder and more expensive for prosthetics. So I was like, no, okay. So he's like, we could do it Friday.
Like before you go.
Yeah, like it's a Monday or some shit.
Yeah, so it's
like
like
it's the 10th. It's the 10th, and then we did it. No, I think it was the 15th. We did it on the 20th, and then Christmas was the 25th.
Gnarly, dude.
Yeah, dude. So like, so they were super cool, and it was weird. Like I fucking start bawling and I start breaking down, and like he's a pretty fucking big tough dude, and he's just kind of sitting there, kind of like uncomfortable as shit. And then I'm like, and dude, they were so cool. They were like, look, if you get to the day and you can't do it, you can cancel anytime. We're gonna set it up to where you get your fucking leg cut off this Friday on the 5th or the 20th, and you can cancel anytime. So call us anytime. And so Donna fucking reaches out to one of her friends on the internet or something, and she's like, look, my boyfriend's about to have his fucking leg amputated. I know you've had your leg amputated. Can you reach out to him? Sorry. Started thinking.
Oh no.
And like the first time we talked on the phone, I was losing my mind. And I'm like, dude, I called him at like 7 a.m. the next day, and I'm like, dude, Donovan, how do you do this, man? Like, I'm about to fucking lose my leg, dog.
Yeah.
You know, and he like told me to like take a bath with it and like, you know, go walk on the beach with it one last time, and like, but he and I created the strongest bond no one will ever understand unless they have that bond.
For sure.
And like he was there for me in a way that nobody else could.
Which I think is cool because you've unintentionally been given this opportunity to connect and speak for a whole demographic of people.
Right. Like we're still going to do the surfing day for amputees.
Yeah. So anybody that doesn't know, we were this close. Weather ended up messing it up to doing an all amputee specialty session at the wave pool in Orlando, and we've got that back up and running.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, we do, dude. It's been
so
such
we need
a
to set
nightmare.
this up then.
Yeah, man. A lot of people know about our wave pool program that we do, Surf the Lagoon. It's coming back. It has been an utter nightmare. It's gonna be a whole nother podcast. Gosh, it's been tough, dude. Talk about trust the process. Well,
bro.
it has been a journey, but yeah. I just think it's so cool, man. I guess to wrap up the back end of your leg injury, you know, what do you have to say to other people that maybe don't have a connect with you yet? Like I've met amputees that I've told to go check your program out. Just what's it been like, and what would you say to anybody that might not be on their journey to healing yet, like you and a lot of other amputees have already gotten on?
You know, I mean, yeah, trust the process. You know, you just have to be okay with not being okay some days. It's okay not to be okay. It's not okay to stay that way. Find people that you resonate with, that you will listen to. Ask for help. Allow yourself to break down. Allow yourself to be human. Fucking have grace with yourself. And like, look, I'm crazy, so I thought that it was normal to become an amputee and then have to fucking leg press 1,000 pounds. Like, I thought that was normal. So like, if you're fucking crazy and you're overachieving, like, acknowledge it.
And that's
You know
huge.
what I'm
That's
saying?
huge, dude, because you can think you're doing the best thing, but you might just be pushing yourself way too hard and making your situation worse.
Right.
And you don't know it.
And like, I stopped lifting that heavy because I didn't want to break any part of my body more. Or
Dude.
like, if my fucking prosthetic gave out under the weight and then it breaks my other leg, like, fuck, man. You know, or it breaks my
And then
knee
you're
backwards
really
or some
screwed.
shit. You know, so like, it was ego lifting for a purpose.
For sure.
I didn't need to prove anything to anyone other than me. And then when I proved it to me,
And
I was like,
sometimes-
okay, I'm cool. I need to relax and remember that, like, I didn't need to do this.
Well,
This
that's
is-
not healthy long term, but that's
Right.
an okay crutch, right?
Oh, it's
Like,
totally.
dude,
It's
I
better
started
than getting
working
drunk all the
out.
fucking time, you know?
I started working out and working like just a beast, dude, when I was depressed. But eventually I had to recognize that that couldn't fulfill me and sustain me full time.
Right.
The days where I had worked out the day before, the weather was crappy, I couldn't surf, and there wasn't really anything else to do, those were the days that I suffered. Those were the days that showed me that my plan wasn't working. I just had a different medicine for every day.
Yeah,
right?
you were
I
just
had to-
distracting yourself.
That's all it was. So when
Yeah.
I met Madison, my wife, that cracked that whole thing open. Interesting thing I want to throw at you, bro. It's super funny. My dad, I don't know how much we've talked about my dad.
Not a ton.
We've had just the worst relationship. Like, we've had, you know, good times when I was a kid, but my parents split when I was 3. He was an alcoholic. We had just a really abusive like environment. It was really bad, and I feel bad for my dad because it's pretty generational, and a lot of it was just kind of like induced into his life, but he didn't do anything about it and kind of fell into a trap, and he's had a really rough life. But the dude is at my house right now, bro. He's been at my house for over 2 weeks, and I don't, like, dude, I swear to you, we haven't spent more than 2 or 3 nights together in over 20 years. At least, dude. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm only 32 years old.
And what happened?
So he like calls me one night and he's like talking about like how he needs to change, and he realized how bad his life is and how he's living in this camper in this black hole and just everything bottomed out. My great uncle just passed away, and he was living in my great uncle's front yard in a camper for several years.
Shit.
So when he passed away, it's not that it didn't bother him, but he kind of had just kind of come to terms with it. But like something else changed. Like it was kind of like when I was living in my car and it was the final straw.
Right.
And you know, any normal person's final straw would have been freaking 20 years ago. But the point is that I told Matt, I was like, yo, I don't want to get too excited here. Well, dude, he ends up like keeping it consistent and then like talking about how he feels bad about stuff and he wants to change. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, who drugged this guy?
Right, like who is this man?
Someone IV this guy with like truth serum. So we had our gender reveal and he came and stayed at my house for 2 nights prior to, and then we were gonna have to send him back out. And I found out when I was in Hawaii, prior to my surgery and everything, he'd been sleeping in his freaking storage unit, dude. And his legs are really messed up. So that's the point. That's what we're getting at here. So my dad has this crazy blood flow issue where he's not getting enough blood in his legs and they're kind of dying basically. And he has cataclysmic pain. And I asked him recently, I haven't really asked, I was like, what is the pain like? And he said, you know when you're doing a workout and you reach that point where you're like on burnout and you throw like 5 or 6 extras out, but they hurt and they take all your energy, and then after when you let off it still hurts? He said that's what it's like. He said when he gets worn out, he'll do these walks, you can see it in his face, it's taking just everything in his soul. So here's the point. I have seen this man struggling with the thought of losing his legs, with the pride of not even being able to do what he wants to do the way he wants to do it. And it's been tough. And I've been really open with him, but very straightforward with him. He's stubborn as a damn brick, but he's changing and it's tripping me out. So the point is, you know, I've gotten a different appreciation of how this impacts your life. And no matter what age you are, just how this can change everything for you. You know?
Big time, man. Big time. It's not an easy transition, but it's a doable one. And there's a lot worse. You know, one of my friends lost all of his arms and legs at one go. You know, really so hard. Like, yeah, man, it's really hard. He's a local too. And like, dude, it's just crazy, like what he's had to go through, just figuring out life again, you know, like learning how to fucking plug your cell phone back in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, there's so many things, but yeah, it's hard. And watching somebody learn how to deal with losing a limb, that's rough.
And it's been rough, but it's been inspiring and eye-opening because, again, the reason I bring this up is it's given me some insight and some perspective for, you know, anyone going through something like that. And it's also brought me and my dad really close. And I made a post recently. I'll have to show you the picture, dude. This is the coolest thing in the world. My mom is just like the sweetest woman on the planet. And she's been through hell and back. And she will gladly walk you through it again if it'll help you.
Right.
And there's this picture of her and my dad at the wedding. And she's walking my dad down the aisle.
Oh, man.
So JD, I don't know if you can cut to my camera if it'll actually focus on that or not. But that picture, just the way she's looking at my dad, and for me, I'm not surprised by her. I'm surprised by his face, looking open-minded, accepting the help. So at my house, he's been letting me help him and not fighting me. But the point is that I was looping back to where you said you were like, you know, leg pressing 1,000 pounds. He's been burning his legs out like on purpose. Mm-hmm. And I've been trying to get him to be okay with not being okay, and it's been really tough for him. But I'm proud of him because I think it's a combination of like his whole world changed. He kind of had a visual of how much his situation sucks, and I think the baby, like us having the baby on the way, is big.
Yeah.
But anyways, bro, you've unintentionally bestowed some insight into me that's helped with that situation, and to anybody out there going through it, man, like Robbie said, trust the process. There's a reason we chose that as a title for this whole thing. It's so universally applied, and it's not cliche because it's critical. And there's people that have been through things that you might be new to, and they can guide you on that process. That's why I love podcasts and storytelling, and it's just super powerful. We got a little over 30 minutes left, so I'm trying to think of what other things we want to talk here. I kind of want to circle back about dad life. So we talked about you being a dad, we talked about the baby, but what's the like work-life dad combo balance update? How's that going?
So
because that's got to be a huge shift.
I don't work a lot anymore, and I'm okay with that.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you know, like I've got some investment.
Was that hard?
It's very hard.
Was it hard, like on a business stance, to just make it happen, or was it also hard for you just not being that guy?
Yeah, I don't sit still typically, so that's hard to deal with. You know, I do better now the more space I give between me and the shop, because it got too all-encompassing before, and I didn't like it.
I can relate, and I'm actually working devastatingly hard to prep myself so that when that time comes for me, I can make the decision I want to make without having consequences on either side.
Right, exactly, and that's the hard part, you know. I'm doing my best to deal with it, and I'm noticing that, like, okay, cool, I'm not working a lot now, but I'm still just as crazy as I used to be. So, you know, I can't just be like, oh, well, once I get this, then, or once I get this, then. I realize, like, I have to take control of my life, and I have to be an intentional parent. I have to be, you know, intentional with my relationships all around between, you know, Donna and Jaden, and the people at the shop. I just realized, like, no situation shift is going to make your life perfect.
No, and that's huge. I want to highlight that, because people are so ready to like achieve a status, an age, a location, to situationally change their life. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: A, life doesn't work like that. B, if it did, you are so SOL when life shifts its cards again.
Right, exactly.
It's like building your house out of cards. If you have a situational relationship, which I always talk about my relationship with my ex, I was freshly out of trouble. I was starting to become kind of popular on the internet doing fun things, so obviously really likable situation. My ex was just graduated from high school, not a lot of pressure, right? Still living at home, I'm living at home. I'm 21, she's 18, and for the first 3 years, we're just cruising, dude. It was a very lucrative environment. I'm having fun, she's having fun, I'm young, we're just cruising. So the problem was that is what let us get so far to almost get married without having to challenge ourselves, right? So the point is that, like, sometimes life will make you feel better because of the situation, which was what was going on. And then when the situation changes, if all your cards are in that one situation, you're so screwed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So change is inevitable, and I encourage it, like we talked about. And I like people like Robbie. I like people that'll shoot it straight with me, be honest with me, and help me grow as a person. Because if I'm not strong enough to receive his information, I'm doing myself a disservice along with him. And if he's not just got the nuts to tell me how he feels, he's never going to see me change for him. Yeah. And I've had freaking multiple relationships fail where I wasn't in the damn conversation, and nothing pisses me off more. But you don't want to be in those kinds of relationships.
Yeah,
it's not a loss.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And you know, once you start to like figure out that every failure is actually a catapult forward, then it kind of changes things too.
You don't get scared of it as much.
No, man, you know, like, and that's the thing, like, I now just do things with an underlying anxiety that would have been a really fucking intrusive fear before. You know, it's
100%.
You know, it's like, oh, I gotta fire somebody. Okay,
you
know.
Go. So the little bit you keeps you sharp and on point.
Yeah.
But the rest of the overthinking you drop lets you get shit done without overthinking.
Right.
Bro, I just went and spoke to those high school students. Thousand kids. So damn cool, dude. Just, they absorbed it. It was so sick. And I was just thinking about my talking points, and I started questioning myself.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I rewatched it. And then people might not know this, but every single live stream I've ever done, except for like 10%, when I end it, I debate if I should delete it. I debate if did I say something, specifically when I'm fired up. And here's the funny thing: when I'm fired up in a good way, you can see it, you can feel it.
And that's when people love it the most.
And they love it the most. And the more exposure it gets, the more I'm like, what is it? And so the cool thing about this podcast, and even that talking to the kids, is it's more or less live, and I'm able to just kind of like speak and not think and not reevaluate. Because I told Maddie, I was like, well, I'm not hurting people. I'm not saying negative things, and people like what I'm saying, and it's helping them. I'm the only one that needs to shut up.
Yeah, why am I second
thinking.
guessing myself so hard? Yeah. Yeah, and that's so fucking natural though. Like, that's imposter syndrome to its max.
Dude.
You know, like, and that's normal, that's natural. I actually wanted to circle around to something we talked about at the beginning of the episode, where you said about how people saying you saved my life. So that was one of the hardest things for me to receive for a while. And I think it goes back to the imposter syndrome. I remember this one dude, Mark, I love him. He's amazing. He's fucking awesome. Like, if you're listening, you know who you are, doggy. Love you. But like, he's an amazing cat. And he came in one night, and I was mad, dude. I was so overworked. This is the point in my life where like, my money was being mismanaged and I was overworking my dick off.
Yeah.
And never got to see any of the fucking work. Like, I got all the money, but I never got to touch it. I never got to use it. I never got to see. I never got to not work. So like, he calls the shop like, hey man, I really need a session tonight. And I'm like, fuck. So I threw out like the high number, and he took it. And I was like, fuck.
Well, guess I'm doing it now.
I guess I have to tattoo now, right? So like, I'm like, all right, well, I gave the high number. So at least I'm being compensated in a way that I can give him my all, right? So he comes in and he starts telling me about a situation. And like, he was in a bad way. And he needed that night. And he told me so many fucking times how much I saved his life that night. And wouldn't you believe it? It took me years to believe him.
That's crazy. Because you were questioning, how could I
possibly
have that much of an
no
impact?
No fucking way.
You're just Robbie.
And I was just fucking cranky. I didn't even want to be there. And like, me giving him the love that I fucking paid myself to fucking be comfortable to give him saved his life that night.
Do you know
what the fuck?
Do you know one of the big reasons why I'm committing to this podcast, beyond the fact that I just like to talk with people and make it a thing? It's because I had to come to terms with, I have something to offer.
Yep.
That there are people screaming from the rooftops, this helped me. I feel better. I now believe in myself. I can see hope. It's in a way, and I've told my wife and mom this, I feel selfish when I take that away.
No, I feel you, man.
So when I don't do my live feeds on Facebook, which it was hard because of getting busy, and that's why I wanted to have a format, I felt like I was disservicing the people who looked forward to the things that maybe would make them feel better.
No, dude, that's always a feeling in the back of my mind when I like get lax about the rad movement stuff. And like, I completely feel you on that. And honestly, the giving back to people thing, I've had a number of people tell me I should write a book on parenting. And I fucking should. Have you tried to fucking find a book about being a parent in your 40s? Being a dad in your 40s?
Yo.
Bro.
That's a good point.
The one I fucking read sucked. Sorry, homie. Like, I really wanted it to be good. He had an Australian accent. I was listening to it on Audible. I was ready, and it just wasn't there for me. Bro, what I want to fucking hear is, dude, this is the hardest fucking story for me to tell. We got COVID, and we were about to go fucking travel for conventions, and we couldn't because of COVID. And then we were going to get monoclonal antibodies. Me and Donna are jealous of how happy you and Maddie were about the baby, because we were going to go to get these monoclonal antibody shots done. She takes a fucking pregnancy test. I don't even know she's taking this test. Then she tells me I'm pregnant. I'm like, what the fuck? We got COVID. We're supposed to be working. Like, now you're fucking pregnant. And what the fuck? Bro, we had the worst day. She ended up fucking throwing Taco Bell at the fucking window of the car because I kept getting the order wrong.
Oh,
Dude,
no.
I'm so embarrassed of how I just didn't handle it right because I went back to scared 17-year-old me if I was to have a baby.
That's a lot, though.
It is a lot. Like, and we weren't trying to not have a baby. So I knew this day could come, and I was okay with it coming.
But the timing with COVID and everything, dude, for sure.
Dude, and then the other shit I want to talk about is all the times you kind of wish the baby just would miscarry. Because you're scared. Like, okay, it looks like things are going wrong. Well, it'd be a lot easier if the baby didn't come. So I know it'll be hard, but maybe we just aren't meant to be parents this time.
Which no one really talks about the many, many, many situations and places in their life that someone may be.
Yeah.
Like, and I tell people that because people will look at like pieces of advice that you or I or anyone has to offer. You have to kind of take all of it with a grain of salt, because what you have to understand is like you could be my next door neighbor, have the same job as me, make the same money as me, have a chick that looks like mine, but our situations aren't going to be the same. So my advice isn't going to solve your problems exactly.
Right.
So you really have to just absorb all this advice and understand that, like, dude, again, some people's things might not all be perfect. I've been in situations where happy things were happening to me, but because of what else was happening to me, I couldn't be happy, and it made me feel like an asshole, and it made me feel like there was something wrong with me. And
dude, I feel you on that, and like that's one of the things. That's why I want to talk about any intrusive thoughts that I may have had during, you know, the pregnancy with Zen, because like, man, I was just a scared kid again. You know, not realizing, man, you're doing this with, you know, way more stability financially, emotionally, you know, like you're just in a better spot and you're going to be a great dad again. And I was just so scared. It was like, maybe we just shouldn't do this. You know, like this would be easier if the car would, you know, the times when you're going, when you're scared in life, it'd be easy if my car just crashed, you know, and then I don't have to worry about being in charge. It'd be easy if this baby just didn't come. Then we don't have to worry about all the shifts that are going to happen.
Well, you know what's funny, dude? People have thoughts, but they don't talk about them with other people. Right. Especially when they're bad, negative thoughts, right? And I heard something recently that maybe you can appreciate. I have had bad thoughts. I have been suicidal. I used to self-inflict. I still have scars on my forearm.
Oh, shit.
I was in a weird place. I was 18, and I wanted to want it bad. But I knew that there was a resistance where I wasn't going to fully commit, but just wanting to want it that bad was the scariest thing in the planet.
Right.
So I just don't think people understand how our situations can make us think negative things, bad things, terrible things, things that you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yes.
So here's the thing that I heard recently. There is no such thing as a bad thought. It is simply a thought.
Yeah.
You are not in control of 100% of your brain. The things that happen to you and pass through you that are out of your control are going to make your brain do certain things. You ever wake up and have a dream and it's kind of inappropriate or bad or whatever? You're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Right. And you're not driving the ship. The point is, stop, like Robbie said, forgive yourself. Stop getting mad at yourself for having bad thoughts.
Have grace with yourself.
Have grace with yourself, because this is what happens. If you have a bad thought and it's not on purpose and it's not in your control, now you're mad at yourself and you're calling yourself an asshole. Now you're in a bad mood. Your wife comes home. Now you're being short. Now you're being a dick. Now you guys are arguing. Now you're arguing about, you see the effect here? When you put yourself in a bad place, you're going to spew bad onto every freaking corner of your life.
Absolutely.
And I was a victim of that for a long time. And Madison, I told her literally yesterday, guys, I'm driving to take her to sushi. We do it every now and then. We spend freaking $100 and it's our special little thing, right? And we do it when we need it, when we're overwhelmed. And I was telling Maddie how she should understand how much she earned any part of joy she gets from our relationship. Because her not jumping ship, people think I'm like this super awesome, perfect guy.
We're nuts, dog.
Dude, when me and Maddie first met, I put my hand through the wall of our house 2 or 3 times, which I had done in every relationship prior.
Right, it was just an old pattern that you didn't know how to break yet.
Which, thankfully, I broke because it was a very clear fork in the road. Cut the shit or lose this perfect girl. And it became very clear. So, yeah, man, I changed and I forgave myself is the interesting thing. Dude, one night, me and Maddie had only been together for probably a year and a half or something. And it was her best friend's birthday. And we went up to Gainesville. And her best friend was like a what is it, frat guys? And what are the girls, JD? Sorority girl. So she's like, sorority girl, super pretty. All of them are pretty, which would make me uncomfortable because pretty girls are attractive and then guys are going to want her and then she's going to go away. So irrational.
Right. So, but you want a pretty girl, but you're afraid of having a pretty girl.
And I
because you don't want to lose.
Really gnarly, like literally PTSD after my relationship. So I remember I dropped Maddie off at the sorority house and she got ready with her friends. I went to the hotel. I was having so much anxiety. I had a time taking my Xanax so that I'm a big hypochondriac, so I didn't want to like drink. And so I took the Xanax and had like 3 or 4 hours before we were going to go out to go drinking, and I wanted to like calm myself down.
Right.
So while we're out, dude, I get so just tripped out, paying attention to other people. Tip of the day, just mind your own damn business, man. Stop looking around and worrying about people and looking like, oh, are they looking at me weird? Oh, is it the way I'm dressed? Dude, who fucking cares? So I'm looking at all these people looking at Maddie, and she gets up on the stage. Mind you, she's wearing a skirt. She's got shorts on. She's being very appropriate. And dude, she's just up there living her best life with her best friend. I have PTSD of all these times where my ex has cheated on me and did these horrible things.
Right, now all of a sudden she's doing that too.
So we had this huge explosive fight, and I damn near ruined the whole night. And it was these nights that and again, me and Maddie just talked about it. I was like, it's been years since we've had anything even relatively close to that, because I recognized the pattern. And I recognized it was me just being mad at my past. And yeah, man, again, people think it's all glorious and just perfect, and it's not. And that's why, like, on this podcast, we're going to talk about awesome moments, the highest of highs, but the lowest of lows.
Lowest of lows, absolutely. Like, Donna is my #1 supporter. The fact that she, like, slept on the floor in the hospital and, like, dealt with me. Because I'd be in the fucking hospital, I'd be like, get the fuck out of this room. Like, go. I don't fucking want you here. Like, I don't want to be here. So why the fuck do you want to be here? Just go DoorDash or something. Like, this is, like, I don't want to fucking be here. Why do you want to be here? And, like, dude, she would just take it and just, like, love me back.
Because you're so overwhelmingly upset with the situation.
Right.
You want to suffer alone almost.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny?
And I was afraid of losing her and driving her away because of moments like that. So stay the fuck away from me so I won't drive you away.
Dude.
Stupid.
No, dude. I feel
it's
you.
like, I'm the stupid one,
Bro,
you know?
my septoplasty, it wasn't a lot, but me and Maddie argued a couple times because she couldn't help me and I was so frustrated. And we kind of butted heads. And anyone that's had to care for someone who has a parent that's getting older,
being a caregiver is
any
rough,
kind,
dog.
dude, because you're wearing that burden just like the person suffering.
And they're putting it on you.
And
like, that's what we do as a patient.
Oh, dude.
We put our shit on other people
even
as patients.
Unknowingly.
Yeah, we don't mean to. It's not intentional.
JD, we're going to cut this thing at 10:40. 10:40. You know, 3, whatever, 40. 40 after, whatever time of day it is.
10:40.
I'm looking at my watch and just reading off of it.
Yo, you want to know what it's like being a dad?
Oh, yeah. So I want to transition into that. Give me some dad advice, bro.
I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. And it's not really because of sleep deprivation or anything like that. My life is chaotic, you know? So, like, no matter what.
Are most of your days just you and Donna with the baby and just doing your thing?
Yeah, a lot of it is me, Donna, and Jaden. You know, like today when I left to come here, Jaden's like, hey, man, you want to go on a family walk later? So, like, that's like the highlights of my day now.
That's awesome, dude. That's cool that Jaden's involved like that. And
bro, dude,
like that.
We're at breakfast the other day and the baby's sitting on his lap, and the baby's name is Zen, by the way. So Zen's sitting on Jaden's lap, and Jaden goes, man, it's times like this where I feel like I could have a baby. And dude, I was like, dude, that's exactly how you were made, because I was sitting with my nephew under this arm in a fucking like lazy boy chair.
Thinking, like,
and I was like, yo, I could
this.
do this. And it was the same exact emotion, the same exact feeling. So I got a little scared, but like also like really warm. Yeah. Because like I want him to get his life together, like with his music and his career before he has a kid, because like I want him to be able to pay for shit.
My dad,
I want to be able to support himself.
My dad was a huge advocate of, in general, just try to get through your 20s, most of it.
We can call this portion done. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I feel that, man. Like I don't want kids to fucking have babies too early. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, it's just too much, man.
It's like, one of those things where, like, there's someone out there who had a baby at 21 and it just was situational. It all worked out, and that's
well, that's
great.
me.
And
I had a baby at fucking 20, you know what I'm saying? And it was awesome. But like having a fucking kid at 42 versus 22 or 21, dude, there's a big fucking difference there. You know, like you're legal to go and drink at 21. So now you want to fucking party your dick off if you're anything like me.
Yep.
You know, so like I was a party animal. And then fucking shortly thereafter, actually, I wasn't even really a party animal until we got divorced. Because my first wife, Jaden's bio mom, she's great and awesome and super clean and sober now. And for so much of his life, she fell off the deep end and just went like out there with drugs and stuff. And so like now I'm a single parent trying to deal with how to be, you know, a young dude that wants to party now and has a reason to party. And like dude, there was rumors floating around that I killed myself because I lost custody of my son, which I never lost custody of my son and obviously never killed myself. But like one of the
just
rumors,
even having those floating around is heavy.
One of the rumors was he killed himself from drugs because he lost his son. And like, how far off from the truth could that be? That could be anybody's fucking story any day of the week, dude.
100%.
You know what I'm saying there? Like it doesn't take anything to lose your shit that quick. So, okay, fast forward to my life now. 42 years old, fucking, I have a really great spouse. Like, we're not married yet because I'm afraid of marriage, but I should marry her.
I second that.
I'm terrified of marriage, and but that's another reason why she's also qualifying herself. She still sticks around and like loves me through the hard parts.
You know, everybody is different, and that's why I let everybody live their life the way they want to live. I have a very simple rule, and it's funny because there was this interview with Lil Wayne in like 2008, and they're like asking what's in your styrofoam cup.
Dude, don't worry about what's in my cup.
He's like, don't worry about what's in my
cup.
cup. What I drink in my styrofoam cup, it's not going to hurt you. It's my styrofoam cup. That's your styrofoam cup. And people try to fit someone else's styrofoam cup, and it fucks their life up.
Dude, it fucks their shit up, man. And like, so you know, now like I get to live the way I'm supposed to live, which is being an intentional parent. Like, I'm financially stable at this point. I still have fucking a weird relationship with money. I need to repair that, and I'm constantly working on it, right?
Dude, trust the process, keep working, man.
Right, but like, I know I'm financially stable. I'm emotionally in a much better place than I've ever fucking been.
Good for you. Dude, I'm happy to hear that, bro. You guys
like,
hear this?
Like, seriously.
You
like,
said you're 42?
I'm 42, yeah. Like, dude, I lost my fucking leg. I lost TV, but TV also made me a winner, right? I lost so many things. I lost 2 marriages.
Are you proud of where you're at right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I am not happy with where I'm at because I'm always wanting more.
I second that.
So, like, that's just where I am. I'm a cranky dumbass about my progress.
But that, people, I'm a firm believer that if you don't get up and look in the mirror and say, that dude right there, that son of a bitch is getting it. Like, people, someone said to me recently, I'm not going to say who, but if you're watching this, I love you, bro. You're going to be on this podcast soon. He pulled me to the side at a party, at a bar, and he said, yo, Dalton, I just wanted to tell you how damn proud I am of you, bro. And all these people talking, don't listen to any of this stuff. People might think you're arrogant or you're this, you're that. They don't get who you are and what you've built and what you're doing. And dude, coming from him, rough background, meant the world to me.
I've had that challenge so many times lately. Like, you know, I get the challenge being a parent. Looking the way I do, some people look at me crooked. You know what I'm saying?
100%. You probably get judged just right off rip.
And dude, like one of Jaden's favorite elementary school teachers was, as soon as we went backstage the other night after the Cass Haley show.
Which we saw each other at a concert the other night. And
the concert we talked about earlier when I was on stage with Jaden. Yeah, and fucking, and Jaden goes, yo, it's Miss Kilcom is over there. I was like, shut the fuck up! And like, we all hugged and all our families were stoked. And like, dude, she was just gushing about my child.
It doesn't just feel good though.
It feels so good, man. Cause like, and that's even bigger because like, yo, you look at me, like people looked at me fucking funny because of who I am and what I look like. But like, who I am is truly shining in who my child is.
Which is, that's gotta be the coolest thing.
It's a really cool thing. And like, I got to raise one kid and he's here and he's good and he's solid and he's awesome. So now I don't have to worry about, am I gonna raise Zen right? Because like I was raising Jaden not knowing what the fuck I was doing, being a young 20-something party animal. Well, now I'm never gonna stop being a party animal, right?
That's
okay.
But like, you gotta keep that a little bit.
Yeah, dude, because even being a fucking monster is necessary sometimes.
No,
if
dude,
I need to stop some shit,
you gotta
being
reserve,
scary is working.
You gotta reserve.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but being a wild man is still good, right? So like now I have wild man tendencies at times, and I know how to wrangle that. I'm not. Jaden used to fucking get himself out of bed, make his own breakfast while he was watching cartoons, make his own lunch, and then wake me up because I was hungover a lot of the time. And so like Zen's not gonna have to go through that, man. Zen gets an intentional parent. Zen gets the parent that's crying in Target, talking to Donna on the phone saying, this book says I am enough, and I'm buying it for him. Like, because my fucking childhood trauma is coming out and saying, I need to feel like I'm enough.
Do you know why I like that? Because you have gone and said, screw generational improvements. I'm going to improve in my own lifetime. And I think that's an amazing thing.
Fucking absolutely, man. Because, like, I need to break the generational curses because, like, they're not mine. You know what I'm saying? It's family stuff. It's bullshit. It's tradition. It's dark tradition. You know the way you say thoughts are neither good nor bad. Family curses are neither good nor bad, you know, like,
and you've got to break family generational problems
because it just turns into traditions.
Your life and then your kids, like, because you're obviously in charge of your kids. I don't think people appreciate that. It's your responsibility, man.
Absolutely.
Like, when you see issues in your life and in your surrounding bloodlines life, man, I get commitment to family 100%, but I just don't think people understand how detrimental it is to never challenge how you were brought up and the problems it brought.
Bro,
it's not always easy, and it's definitely not enjoyable.
Watching my dad refuse to share love with my mother on his deathbed.
Bro,
I'm not gonna fucking be that. I love my dad, and he still comes to me all the fucking time. Like, I appreciate, dude. We were on stage and fucking Cass Haley's singing a song my dad used to sing.
Dude.
And I start fucking crying, and like Donna and Jaden are looking at me, and I'm like, my dad used to sing that song. But like, I feel his love posthumously, right? The love that he wasn't comfortable enough giving me in life. I don't have to be that.
And
I can't
amazing
be that.
you acknowledge that, because, bro, that moment you just described, you're on the stage, you're at the concert, you're watching your son, you know, Cass is singing the song, you got your wife, bro.
Dude,
I'm proud of you, dude. And that's the full circleness of life. And and those little moments, man, I encourage you to just remember and just stay focused on those moments, because it's so cool where you're at in life. I hope you guys have been encouraged by this, because Robbie is not just like an amazing guy and an inspirational person. You're an incredible fucking artist, an amazing business owner. You've built something that I hope is inspiring other artists, not just to be artists, but to go open a brand and do something huge. You can change the world.
Well, dude, and you're inspiring me to fuck with Disney, because one of my goals is to have studios inside of Disney places. And you're working with Disney, so like, you don't even realize how much that action just makes me realize I can do Disney. So Rad Inc. will be in Disney, dog.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying?
Sky's the limit, bro.
Absolutely.
And when I hear people like you say that you're going to do something, I believe it. And I hope people recognize it. I'm sure you've seen it, dude. There's no way you could comprehend the life you're living right now 15, 20 years ago.
No, man. You know,
that leads me into like my final question here is, what is next? If you even know, where are you and Rad Inc. going? And what can people look forward to? So
the plan has always been 5 shops in 7 years.
Epic. It's huge.
I don't know if we're going to hit that goal, but we're going to get some figured out.
Which this first shop is right here in Melbourne,
Florida.
On 192. What's your address?
760 West New Haven Avenue.
So you guys just look up Rad Inc., Florida. You'll come right up. You can find these guys. Once you get on 192, you can't miss the building. It looks just like Robbie.
And if I'm here, you're going to see my pink 59 Cadillac sitting out front.
Yeah, is it here?
Yeah, it's sitting out
dude, we got to go take a peek at that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man, so right now, because of the baby and stuff, I've taken a huge step back from the shop. So we've learned how to make the shop operate without me. I'm doing tattoo education big now. So like I'm starting to help tattooers figure out how to get where I've come, you know, go through the things that I've done.
Passing that knowledge,
baby. Yeah, you know, how to improve your skill, because nobody was giving skills away back then. When I was starting, it was actually like you get your hands broke, So now I'm like, fuck that. Let's break generational curses in tattooing.
That's huge.
You know, people hate me for this. I'd like to make an ethically produced tattoo school.
Dude, I was gonna say,
you know,
please do that,
ethically,
bro. Do that.
ethically, because a lot of people haven't done it ethically.
Yeah.
And so,
and unfortunately, the tattoo industry is one of the ones where some bad characters have messed up some great things.
But you know, I've seen a lot of tattooers do some really stupid shit and then fucking still bounce back and create more of a career.
Yeah.
I thought my career was over when I went on Ink Master because I went home earlier than I felt like I should have.
It ended up being just a really solid chapter.
Dude, man, it's funny because Donna, when she first met me, was like, Ink Master's corny. And I was like, first off, I didn't even know if we were going to be together for a while, you know, because I had just gotten out of my second divorce. So I was like, look, dude, we got an expiration date. So I don't give a shit what you say about me. All right. You're cute and I like you, but I don't got to fucking worry about what you think of me, dog. I know what Ink Master's done for my life.
For sure.
So like, I was just like, okay, you can think what you will. And the funniest part is putting Donna's foot in her mouth because you don't even have to do it. You just wait for her to do it. Most people are that way. We're all that way, right? So,
Absolutely.
you know, Ink Master's corny, Ink Master's corny, Ink Master's corny. Yeah, then why did Granny know who I was before you did? Cool. Ink Master's corny, Ink Master's corny, Ink Master's corny. Why the fuck don't I ever pay for anything when I go to these conventions? Cool. Like, Ink Master's corny, Ink Master's corny, Ink Master's corny. Why does everybody know who I am and want to take my picture? And, like, we can just travel around from state to state and I can tattoo people that think I'm famous.
No,
you know, so, like, I didn't have to, like, drop that on her. She just saw it and was like, okay, I used to think Ink Master was corny, but now, and it's like funny, dude.
Well, it speaks into your life and you harnessed it and ran with it, dude. And it's been a long time since the show.
It has, dude. 2014, you know, like almost 10 full years. And like, I'm still well known and I still find ways to become relevant because I never stop. Like, dude, my TikTok, we're growing that. We got 17,500 followers in like 3 or 4 months.
That's epic, dude.
Just by
That's huge.
like being continuous.
Consistent.
We've dropped the consistency now, but dude, like some of my Facebook reels, I got one Facebook reel with 17 million views on it. One of the other, and that's got my son Jaden's song on it.
Oh, so, that's so sick.
So we're like using his music in my marketing.
That's brilliant.
So the other one that just blew up, it's almost at 4 million views, and these are in Facebook reels, guys. Facebook reels. Gary Vee talks about it a lot right now, but like I'm a witness to it. I'm getting fucking 100,000 views, 500, 700, a couple million views. This is
brilliant. He's absolutely on par. Gary Vee has been pushing and pushing and pushing. Focus on Facebook Reels.
It fucking works, man. And so like the Croc Charm song on my son's new video, him and his homie that's on the song with him, we spent a day together and we did some video at the house. We did some video in the car. We did some video here of me tattooing Croc Charms on them. And then I took the Croc Charm tattoos and some of the footage from the videos that they made, created a reel, used the Croc Charm song, and now it's got like 4 million views.
That's major.
Like, yeah, dude. So like it's, you know, I saw this one video. This dude was talking about like if you want to be, make 10 to a certain amount of like 10 to 100,000, use your hands. Make 100,000 to a million, use something else, and then use a million, make $1 million or more, use your brain. And like, you really got to think to make the light bulbs go off. Because like, you told me the time that you posted a video and you were like, this is stupid, nobody's going to want to watch this TikTok. And you got done surfing and the video blew up by the time you were done surfing. Every time.
Which is so crucial.
Dude, it's so wild.
You've got to do what you got to do, but your brain is your worst enemy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to act and stop thinking. Like I said, the Community Credit Union, huge freaking conglomeration of banks decided to have me come out and speak. Right. But I'm sitting there saying, oh, did I say that right? Ooh, should I have said that? It's pretty clear the people are speaking. And so that's my big takeaway, man. That's why I love people like you, because I see you out there screaming from the rooftops. I love what you're doing. And I know you support me back. And you guys help me question myself less, which is a beautiful thing. You help me with my own process, which is also a beautiful thing. And this was so sick, dude.
Dude, this was, man. I love this. Like you did the little studio setup in my room. I love the concept of what you're doing. Not only just telling people's story, but putting it in their element.
Yeah, I think this was cool.
This was really cool, and this was definitely the best way I've ever done an interview in my chair.
Yo.
Because it's usually just with a cell phone or some shit, you know? Like,
man.
everything I do is grassroots as fuck.
Yeah, dude.
So my new business partner in the tattoo education thing, one of my buddies took the master class, and afterwards he was like, dude, I didn't believe it was you because it was so high quality. And I was like, I know, I do everything just fucking like straight from the phone. But like, yeah, this definitely made me realize there's ways to step things up too.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, without breaking the bank.
Well, I wanted to start with Robbie for a reason. I'm sure you've seen from all of this verbiage. He's my boy. He's an amazing artist. If you need tattoos, I don't care if you're in Florida or not, fly here. Come see this man.
I know a lot of people that fly here.
I know you do, and I'm telling people that this is not just a tattoo guy in town. This is the man, and I love having you on my team, bro. I love having you work on my stuff. And I proudly wear what Robbie's done for me. So, dude, this was the best first episode ever. If you guys are watching, please do me a favor, subscribe, like, leave some comments, leave some questions for Robbie. I'd love for you guys to leave your questions, and I'll circle back and have him come and answer those. And again, check the description. I'm going to put all the links in there we talked about for the RAD movement, RAD Inc., talking about the interview right after your injury. So all that's in there, and appreciate you doing this, bro.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, and if you want to find me, Robbie Ripoll on all the platforms, the RAD movement as well, just Google my name. You can pop up. I got a lot of places out there.
Awesome.
And radinkflorida.com is where you can book appointments.
Yeah, so y'all go support Robbie, support his team. Again, Robbie's the man, but he does have some incredible artists here. It's kind of like me. I explain to people that it's not just the Dalton show anymore. When the boys and girls pull through, they're here to do the Dalton work. So
we've got 4 guest artists coming in. We got 3 coming in a clump at the like midpoint, like April 11th-ish, and then we got another artist coming in for like a month or so, and he's just gonna hang out for a little bit and just chill.
Killing it, dude.
Yeah, man. So we're always trying to bring in new artists, you know, from around the country, around the world. You know, the one homie Gio, he's been coming back. He's got crazy watercolor influence. So yeah, like I try to bring my people to here. For sure. Because Melbourne was this sleepy town, but there's this like big thing going on with us
everywhere, and
know?
it's not just Robbie, it's Rad Inc. and the whole movement.
Yeah,
so
man.
You guys are getting it, bro.
Fuck yeah, brother.
Love you, buddy. All right, guys, y'all subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Yeah.